to the 20th Annual Community Conference. That's right, 20th Annual Community Conference. We will be starting our program shortly. Allow me to introduce to you our moderator and our keynote speaker for this morning, LaVon Williams. LaVon began working for Orange County as a neighborhood planner back in 1997, where she worked on the Enterprise Zone program and worked closely with several neighborhoods to produce strategic neighborhood action plans. In 2002, she was appointed as the manager of the Neighborhoods Division, where she brought programs such as the Renew and Neighborhood Pride grant programs and community cleanups through cleanup and attractive neighborhoods and crime prevention strategies through safe neighborhoods, just to name a few. LaVon has many stories to tell, and I know that many of you have come to know LaVon over the years. So please join me in welcoming to the stage LaVon Williams.
Good morning. I am so excited. Y'all, I was last night as I was resting and trying to get prepared because they made me get up at 5 o'clock this morning. As I was resting and getting prepared for today, I started reflecting on 20 years, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more as I get later in the program, but it's been an awesome 20 years, and I get a little choked up and a little emotional about it because some of you, we've been through a lot of changes together, some good, some bad, but nonetheless, I think we would say that we've come out the better for it at the end. And I'm just really excited about where we are today and where we're going, and there are going to be so many great things to come for Orange County's neighborhoods. Let me officially welcome you to the DoubleTree by Hilton. This is our host hotel, as you know, and we are forever grateful to the staff here for all of their support as we plan the community conference. There's so many things that go into the details of planning a conference of this size, and the DoubleTree staff made it so much more easy, and we appreciate them so much for that. We're going to begin our program with an invocation and a pledge of allegiance. Let me ask, first of all, let me ask you to please stand. And if Pastor Gregory Clayton is here from Open Door Ministries. No, he's not here. Okay, well, I guess I'm a preacher's kid, so maybe that counts for something. I'll do an invocation and then we'll have the presentation of the colors. If you would just bow your heads with me. Dear Lord, thank you so much for today. Thank you so much for 20 awesome years. Thank you so much for the family and the friendship that we've gathered over the years and the hard work that so many of our citizens have put into making their neighborhoods great. Lord, we ask that you bless the conference today, make it useful, make it something that will change the way that our leaders think about themselves and the way they think about their neighborhoods. Make it a blessing to all of us. Thank you in Jesus' name, amen. And now the presentation of colors. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may now be seated. Today promises to be an information-packed event. You will have an opportunity to discuss topics that are important to citizen leaders all over Orange County. I hope that you will take the opportunity to get to know one another, to exchange phone numbers or emails. Your information, the best information, is going to come from learning from each other, because some of you have been around for 20 years and you've learned some things that hopefully you will share with the others as you're in your workshop. Also, I hope that you will take full advantage of our workshop speakers. We have taken great lengths to make sure that we get experts in the fields that they operate in, to make sure that you have the best of the best presenting to you today. So we want you to take advantage of the speakers in the workshop. I just want you to be able to take full advantage of all of the information that's being presented so that you can take it back to your neighborhoods. Let me pause really quickly to do a quick commercial break. I want to thank our sponsors. Our platinum sponsor is, of course, Orange County Government. If we give them a round of applause. Our silver sponsors are Critical Intervention Services and Vitus Healthcare. And we are so thankful to them for their sponsorship of today's conference. If we had to pay for this conference, just for the full cost for each individual, it would be about $150 per person. But because we have these sponsors, we're able to offer the conference at a significantly reduced rate. And so we're very thankful for Orange County Government and Critical Intervention Services and Vitus Healthcare for helping us underwrite the cost of this conference. Let me transition here. The greatest part of what we do here in neighborhoods, in our neighborhoods office, is meeting hardworking people like you. In the nearly 20 years that I've been working with Orange County, I've had the pleasure of meeting many of you who are here today. The community conference for me is like a big family reunion, because I get to see people who I've been working with for years, but it's also a great reunion because I get to meet people who are really new to this neighborhood work or who I haven't met before. And so it's a wonderful time. Today, what I want to do is I want to share some brief information with you about the Neighborhoods Division and what we do and how we operate and how you can take advantage of our programs and services. But then I also want to give you just a few encouraging words, because I've served on my board of my homeowners association, and I know that it can be a thankless job. You are working very hard, and there's always that one neighbor that just makes your life miserable. So I want to encourage you today and maybe inspire you to just go on just a little bit longer. Over the years, our programs through the Neighborhoods Office have grown. We've started to develop what I like to call a continuum of care for neighborhoods. It doesn't matter if your neighborhood is brand spanking new, just being turned over from the developer, or if you're a historical neighborhood that's 30, 40, 50 years old, you can find services that will benefit you through our office. The programs that we offer were mostly formed from your input. Some of you gave us formal input. You participated in surveys and you went to community meetings and you give us input. And then some of you gave us your direct input. You came into the office and you sat in my chair and you told me this is what we need to do. And I'm so thankful for all of that, because all of your input has helped shape our office and helped shape the programs that we offer. In your conference bag, you're going to find a brochure. It's a yellow brochure, I believe it is, that has all of our programs on it. please get to know those programs because, like I said, it doesn't matter where you are as a neighborhood, there are programs that you can benefit from. We do everything from coming to your neighborhood organization and talking to you about the role of your officers and what your officers should be doing, to talking to your residents about how they can get more involved. We do fundraising. We can help you with fundraising. We can help you with leadership development and turnover. We can help you with so many different things. Even if you have a project that you want to do in your neighborhood, like fix your neighborhood sign or put in a new gazebo, we can help you with that. So get to know those services so that you can take advantage of it. The conference theme is connecting neighbors and neighborhoods. And this is the motto of our Neighborhood Services Division. It's at the heart of what we do. We like to think that we're connecting you to the family next door, to the people around the corner, and the neighborhoods down the street. Most importantly, we strive to connect you with your Orange County government. We want to make sure that you make your tax dollars work for you. As neighborhood leaders, you have the opportunity to participate in decision making for Orange County, whether it's coming to a public hearing or participating in a survey or speaking with your county commissioner. You all play an important role in shaping Orange County government. And most importantly, by taking advantage of our grants program, you have a way of directing tax dollars straight to your neighborhood so that you can get the most out of what you give to Orange County. Orange County has many strong, active neighborhood organizations. In fact, as of today, we have over 1,600 registered neighborhood organizations. And that kind of warms my heart a little bit because when we started the directory back in 1993, I wasn't here, but when it first started in 1993, there were only like 100, maybe, registered neighborhood organizations. And so now we're 1,600 strong, and that is just phenomenal, and I'm so excited about it. By the way, you can find our neighborhood organization directory in your bag. That is a directory that you can use as a resource. You can look for neighborhoods that are in your district or around the corner from you or down the street from you, and you can contact them and ask them, hey, are you having a problem? Like, for instance, I'll give you an example of how the directory works. For a little while, I think it was the Dr. Phillips area. Anybody here from the Dr. Phillips area? Anybody? Yeah? Well, for a little while in the Dr. Phillips area, they were having problems with coyotes. And the neighborhood organizations used the directory to contact all the different homeowner associations so that they could get the word out about this coyote problem. And is it coyotes? Yeah, coyotes. That's what they are. Yeah. And they were able to connect with one another, and they were able to problem solve together because they had the directory. And so you can use that directory as a resource for you. We know that there are many more neighborhood organizations out there. Orange County is huge. And from east to west, there are so many homeowner associations and neighborhood organizations. And we know that we're only just scratching the surface, but we'd like to have more. So if you know of neighborhood organizations that are not here today or that are not registered in our directory, I'm counting on you to let them know and to get them registered. I want us to be so big next year when we have this community conference that we have to go to like the convention center or somewhere because we have so many neighborhood associations registered. I understand that many of you do not realize how important that you are. The role that you play in the community may seem thankless at times, and I know it does, but your sacrifice of your time, your energy, and yes, I know even sometimes your own money, will be well worth it. Neighborhood revitalization and enhancement and preservation all begins with you. As a government, we can provide services and programs, but you have the real power. You can establish a vision for your neighbors and for your neighborhood, and you can make sure that those goals that you all set as a community come to fruition. Neighborhood organizations help to extend the arm of government by helping us to better understand your needs. Some of you have heard me say in the past that we may be government, but we don't know your neighborhood like you know your neighborhood. So we depend on you to tell us what you need and what services you need and what programs you need so that we can make sure that we're serving you in the best way possible. Just for a moment, I want to share with you a few lessons that I learned while I was on my homeowner association board. That was a very trying experience, to say. I was on the board for at least 2, maybe 3 years now I think about it. First of all, the first thing I learned is that you have to think positive. I like that old Mr. Rogers song, "It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood." And I like that because when I drive, my neighborhood is a big loop. And when I drive around the loop, I just sing that song, "It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood," because it makes me feel so much pride. And even though I know that Mr. Smith is not taking care of his grass the way he needs to take care of it, and that there are people who are parking extra cars and they shouldn't have all those cars in the way, and there are people who are parking on the sidewalk, and even though I see those things, just for a brief moment, I will drive around just to say, it's a beautiful day in my neighborhood. And what I have found is that when I think positively, it's infectious. That means the people around me think positively. If I'm always talking about everything that's wrong with our neighborhood, then all everybody will always think about is what's wrong with our neighborhood. So I try to spin that around, and I try to talk about what's right with our neighborhood and why we all chose to come and live there. The second thing that I learned as on my board of directors is that it's so much better to build friendships and not votes and alliances. Most of the time, we don't get to know the people who are even next door to us until we have an issue or a problem that needs to be solved or something that needs to be voted on at the association meeting. But what I've learned is in the long run, it's so much better to try to build a relationship than it is to try to persuade them to vote for something that you think is right at this particular time. People work so much better when they know you and that they know that your heart is for the best of the community and not just trying to get a vote. Finally, sometimes as leaders, we have to face our fears and step outside of what is comfortable to us in order for us to make a difference. I challenge you to think of that thing that you said you would never do, let down your guard, and go ahead and do it. And here's an example of what I mean. When I first got on my board of directors, I was like, I am not calling these people. I am not walking this neighborhood. I'm not doing a newsletter. They know we have an association. They know that there's a meeting every quarter. They know that I shouldn't have to go and beg people to come to my homeowner association meeting. But what I learned was I had to step outside of my comfort zone. And so not too long after that did I not only have a phone tree, but I was walking the neighborhood, passing out neighborhood newsletters. And what I found from that is it made a difference in our neighborhood. As a matter of fact, many of the people who are currently serving on our board of directors came about because we reached out to them while we were walking around the neighborhood. And so you have to get outside of your comfort zone. And sometimes, yeah, you have to do those things that you said you would never do just to be able to be effective. And just one last point. Learn to appreciate the unique qualities of your neighborhood. There is a reason why you moved there. When you moved to that neighborhood, there was something that attracted you there. And there's a reason why you're there. Make sure to remember that and make sure to focus on that and to remind your neighborhoods of that. Be focused on what brought us all together to our neighborhoods. So this year, we celebrate 20 years. And I get a little choked up because so much has happened in 20 years. I think about neighborhoods such as Pine Hills that has been through so much transition, and you never would have told me 20 years ago that we would be able to have a neighborhood improvement district in Pine Hills that would be focused on restoring businesses and rebuilding the community. There have been so many changes where we've worked with the sheriff's office and worked with code enforcement to improve neighborhoods, to reduce crime, and to improve the aesthetics of the communities. And then so much has happened for me personally. I think in 20 years, you all have been with me a lifetime, it feels like. I got married, I had 2 kids, I went to law school, and all of you have been there with me through the process, from encouraging me when my kids were little. In fact, I was telling Miss Joanne Rice that when I used to go to community meetings, I had to bring the kids with me because I didn't have a babysitter. And Joanne would help me and keep them busy with cookies while I presented at the community meeting. And then some of you, I remember I went to a community meeting at Robbinswood while I was studying to take the Florida bar. And the members of the Robbinswood Community Association did a prayer for me to help encourage me to pass the bar. And so 20 years, there's been so much that has happened in our community, so much that has happened personally. I know you all have your stories when you think about what the last 20 years have been about, but it's an exciting time for us. We're at a great place, and we're going to be able to do so many wonderful things. But just for one quick moment, I wanted to take advantage of having all of you in the room. So what I'd like to do, if Michelle and Emily, you're here, okay, good. What I want to do for the next few moments, I want you to get to know who's at your table. And what I want you to do is I want you to find out who at your table who has been working in neighborhoods for the longest. I want you to just quickly find out who's been working in your neighborhoods the longest. In fact, before we do that, how many of you, is there anybody in the room who was at the first community conference? Anyone? Yes, you were there? That's awesome. And how many of you, is this the very first community conference that you've been to? Wow, this is awesome. This is awesome. Well, take a moment, find out who's been working in neighborhoods the longest in your neighborhood at your table. Just take a few moments. Okay, now what I would like to do, if I can have your attention, I want us to all to be able to learn from those who've been working at this for a long time. And so if I could ask for thank you, Melvin. If I can just ask just really quickly for some volunteers if you've been working in your neighborhood for at least 5 years, can I ask for a volunteer? And don't make me have to call your names, because I will call names. Can I ask for a volunteer to just share some words of encouragement, some lessons that you've learned as a neighborhood leader? Yes, Miss Vicki.
Yes, we started our neighborhood organization in '99 because when we moved there, and I moved from North Carolina, if you don't recognize my accent, and we got tired of all the stuff that was going on around us, so we started with Orange County, and at that time, I think Jill and Wes
Yes.
Johnson had come to our meeting, and Mark Lewis, I believe.
Yes.
And they showed us how to get going, and we don't charge fees, and we don't say you can't paint your house purple, but people are more receptive whenever you just, we have a bi-monthly meeting, and people come, and we encourage people, if there's anything wrong, to email us, to call 311 Orange County, community line. But over the past, I say 15 years, our neighborhood has grown, and it's a lot of older neighborhoods, but people take more pride in it, right, Mary Margaret? And it's a lot safer when you got a lot of people looking after your streets instead of just one or two. Like you were talking about the phone tree, that's very important. And to get to know your neighbors, like everybody in our neighborhood knows when a car comes through and it's not one of our cars, they know it.
Yeah.
If they see somebody walking down the street, knows they're not belonging there, that's suspicious.
Yeah.
But anyway, with all the grants and everything that Orange County has, it's been great. So, and I think our neighborhood has grown and prospered, and we, help with Orange County and with the Sheriff's Department. So if you're just starting your neighborhood, Orange County has a lot of resources and very helpful. So.
Thank you so much, Miss Vicki. Anybody else want to share with us some words of encouragement? Those of you who've been working for 5 years or more, just stand up. I know you're out there. Miss Billy.
Okay, my name is Billy Ray, and I live out in this West Orlando, and the name of my subdivision is Shadow Ridge. I've been the president for 18 years because nobody else want to do it. So I took that responsibility because when I moved there, we moved from Virginia, and it was a very nice neighborhood, and I didn't want to see the neighborhood go down. So when the president resigned, I thought, well, what are we going to do? We got to get this thing going. So I asked around the neighborhood, and I finally got a secretary, and we already had a treasurer. He had been there longer than I had. So we kept it going, and through all of the grants that we have gotten through Orange County, I'm just so thankful. And, we just learned a lot we started doing a lot of activities like having a block party, things like that, having yard sales. And we're kind of like her neighborhood over there. We kind of look out for each other. We start with the neighborhood watch. And, we, at one point, my husband is a retired police officer from New York. So I wanted to do that police thing. I wanted to get a car. And he's the citizen patrol thing, yeah. And he said, what, you can't do that. I said, well, okay, well, maybe you would do it, So we're still working on him to do that. But I do think, and I thank LaVon, she has been inspiration to me for 18 years, and whenever I can't get what I really want, I talk to LaVon because I know she's gonna help me get it. So I just thank you for this 18 years that I've been the president, and I hope I don't have to be there for another 18 years. Maybe somebody else will take it. So thank you.
Another volunteer. Anyone else want to volunteer? Miss Bertina?
Ms. Levine, I want to thank you. Can you hold it? We go back to the planning department. That's how
Yeah.
far we go back, especially in Pine Hills. Those of you who did the front porch initiatives, way back then. So we have been working all these years. Neighborhood services came out of the planning division, and we are so grateful for the neighborhood services. It has absolutely been essential for unincorporated Orange County areas for development and renewing and keeping safe and becoming prosperous. And I thank you for that. And I would like to always encourage you, everybody, that change sometimes may be slow, but to keep working, never stop, always persist, and have faith.
That is so important that you never, here's one more over here, that you never stop, because it seems like, I know there are times where it seems like that it's not going to come to fruition and that it's not going to come together, but it always does in the end. So don't stop. Yes. And introduce yourself, because you're a new face to me.
Okay, I'm Jim Long. This is my first year here, although I've been in the community since '68.
Wow.
My passion is a nonprofit drug rehab center down in South Orlando. If anybody is interested in that stuff, I'd love to talk to you about it. But recently, I've been involved with the Safe Neighborhood Committee. And what I'm going to tell you is something you already know, but I want to reaffirm it and reassert it. The best people to get involved with, some of the best people to get involved with in your neighborhood is your dog walkers. Those are the people that walk out there. They know what belongs there. They know who don't belong there. I constantly get people saying, hey, I seen a red truck in here, don't belong here today. But if you're asking for something that I've learned, that's the number one thing.
Awesome. Yeah, you have to, I always say that you have to look around and take advantage of the assets in your community. And people like dog walkers or people who are retired and at home and maybe stay-at-home moms, those people are great resources for you in looking out for the community and watching out for things that are happening in your neighborhood. I'm going to take one more. Is there one more person? Yes. I can't see you because of the light, but I saw your hand go up.
I am with Rosebud Community, the Orlando Homeowners Association. We're both in the city and the county. And let me tell you, we take advantages of the resources. I don't know LaVon, but I know Antoine, if he's still with you all, Antoine. And we have written grants where we have been able to restore walls in the community. We have been able to get funding for our National Night Out activity. And it's with Orange County Revitalization and Preservation Department. You're awesome. We have very positive experiences with you, and we appreciate you tremendously.
Thank you so much. I hope, I really didn't plant these people at all. These are all really volunteers. But I hope for those of you who this is your first time coming to the community conference, I hope that you're hearing a reoccurring theme, and that is being involved with the Neighborhood Services Office can be a great resource for you. You don't have to be alone. You don't have to be out there working by yourself. We are here to be working with you side by side, doing projects, encouraging your neighbors, getting people involved. We will be glad to do that. Thank you all so much. A round of applause for everybody who shared with us.